But going from to this, yeah, they definitely dirty things up a bit. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Low End University. The Theme Fiasco is from the band's fourth studio album, Slowly Going the Way of the Buffalo, released in 1998, and the title was derived from a letter a fan had written the band complaining that they were changing and slowly going the way of the buffalo. It's kind of a rough thing to tell a band you're a fan of, I guess to imply they're falling off, going extinct. I don't know. People should remember there's real people on the other end of things like that. But on the flip side, it seems the band internalized it, leaned into it, and named it their album, which is both funny and commendable. But for this album, bassist and vocalist Mike Herrera said that they dirty things up a little bit, wanted to kind of stray away from the sound they achieved with Life in general. They wanted to refrain from making another album that sounded like it was produced in a lab. Many of you have said that bassist Mike Herrera lets loose, so I'm excited to dive in and hear an instrumental track from this band. So without further ado, here is The Theme Fiasco from MxPx. Ooh. This is also the last track on the album, so an instrumental closer. Very cool. Little feedback. Kind of a cool setup. Damn. All over the place. I like how the bass is it replaces the vocal. It's almost like a lead vocal. And I know they're the same person, but it's cool to it's not like an instrumental with some moving bass lines. The bass is really in the forefront here. Very interesting. I think the biggest thing taking me off guard right now is that the only MxPx song I've heard, and it was catchy as hell. It was great. But going from to this, yeah, they definitely dirty things up a bit. This is okay. I have two sides of the coin now with this band. I'm excited to get to more. Let me go back to when the bass kind of kicked in. We had kind of a long intro. Sounds like we're largely based here in E minor. Really cool setup with the feedback guitars, just kind of making you go, and then it drops with that punchy bass right out of the gate. Big fan of that. All right. Yeah, so we got a diminished arpeggio. I knew that kind of sounded a little sinister. E to G to B flat. It's basically this sound. So he's kind of leaning into that. All rooted in that E. That's kind of a weird thing to play. Okay. Yeah, they have the guitar, I think kind of doubling that just in a chord form. Is that right? I mean, it's all the right stuff to sound sinister and dark. Yeah. Okay. I like the interplay between the guitar and bass. They're both kind of pushing the same. They're kind of pushing the same with the same energy, but they're kind of like two roads apart going to the same place. You have the guitar, doing what the bass is doing, kind of in just a held out chord form and going up chromatically, and the bass is kind of separating it all and just giving you this, upfront bass melody. Some interesting intervals here. We have a lot of chromaticism. Let's see. I think he actually started going to the major third because it started off on diminished. Now right here, so it's another tritone there. A lot of half steps moving around. Okay. Ooh, this part. Man, that's a great tone. A whole different part. He kind of had an A section, B section, C section. It's kind of sounding through composed so far, meaning nothing really repeats. It introduces a theme, moves on to the next one. It might harken back to it a little bit in similarity, but it just keeps introducing a new theme. So through composed, kind of like a one-way street. And I love stuff like that. Coming from prog metal, this is like all I listened to as a teenager. So I'm going to call it progressive. I like that. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's kind of like all 12 notes are at his disposal. It's not really any notes left out, maybe a few, but there's really no key center. It just kind of comes back to D and E, and it's just playing a lot with flat fives, major thirds, minor thirds, fourths, fifths, sixths, all in the same sentence. And that tone is so good. If I'm remembering correctly, he's played Ernie Ball Music Man, Stingray, largely all of his career with the band. I could be totally wrong. It sounds like a Stingray to me, that Music Man pickup sound. It's got those really, really kind of compressed, smooth highs. Yeah, it sounds trebly, but in a really pleasant, warm way. It's a really specific sound. So it could be anything, but that reminds me of that. And I think I read a lot of you said that he's kind of stuck with that brand for a long time. But don't quote me on it. Okay. Oh, that's got a swagger. I mean, what am I doing with my tone? I'm trying to kind of get my onboard EQ similar to that tone. I have a whole different pickup schematic, but I don't know. I'd kind of scoop it a bit, maybe roll off the high mids. What would I do here? Whatever he played, that was a fat groove there. Again, it's a whole new section, so we're kind of on like variation D. I like songs like this. Kind of makes you want to go listen to them again, because you want to go back to that one part that didn't come back. I hear that again. This stuff's so eerie. This is the album's closer. So that's a big statement. Okay, so right as the track faded out, I looked up, I read the song title again, and I thought, okay, is that literal? A fiasco of the themes of the song? Like, they couldn't really figure out a theme? Is it that literal? I don't know. I don't know if this could be referring to something else. But it would make sense. Through composed, nothing really repeated until the very end. That first theme came back. So they brought that back, and it kind of came full circle. Very cool. Cool way to end the album. A big, bold statement. I mean, that was chock full of great bass tone, great bass melodies and note choices and grooves. Lots of different feels. So it's really cool. I don't think I've heard an instrumental from any punk scene band we've done. I'm trying to think. Instrumental parts. I think Rancid's Axiom was mostly instrumental. But like a really dedicated instrumental. I really like that. They just kind of let them loose with a bunch of grooves. And I think a cool part of that, despite the obvious thing, the bass playing, is that the guitar and the drums just kind of set the stage to let him just pummel through with all of that melodic goodness. It's like the drums kept it together. Kind of reminded me of like a Metallica Anesthesia Pulling Teeth when the drums come in with Lars and Cliff on the second half. Lars is just there to hold it down and let Cliff go. Kind of had that spirit about it. But the guitar was really set the stage, coming in with the feedback and the eeriness, and then that kind of remained through the whole song, just kind of pulling the bass part along. Really cool idea to end an album with. Again, I don't think I've heard like a dedicated instrumental from a band from this scene, so very cool. This sounds so different than Chick Magnet, where he was scatting. I mean, this is a whole different sound, so wow. Definitely a surprise. I'm glad I circled back. So thank you guys for putting this on my radar. This was pretty equally yoked in requests with Chick Magnet. I think I just wanted to start with their bigger song first to get an idea. So it sounds like two different bands, but thank you guys for hanging out with me today. If you'd like us to come support the channel further, come find us on Patreon. I do full album reactions there. I have tons of bass lessons, content if you're a bass player. And we have a whole community there. Come hang out. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe. I appreciate you hanging out with me. I love you all, and we'll see you next time.